Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm your host, Paul Jackson. Thank you for joining us. Interesting show today, a couple of different and divergent kind of shows we'll have. The second half of the show, we'll have a spokesperson on for the Lancaster Campground, and we'll talk about the big Davis Auditorium Gala grand opening. We've talked about it for years, and finally the big grand opening is here, and we'll talk about the second half of the show today. We're down here at Fairfield Federal downtown in our little corner of the main lobby. We're glad you're with us, and we always appreciate the folks at Fairfield Federal allowing us to come in. So the second half will be about the Lancaster Campground. The first segment of the show, we'll talk to, I think, one of the great organizations here in town, the Salvation Army. There are several that are good, and I'm sure you have a favorite, and that's wonderful. But I personally think the Salvation Army is one of the real fine institutions in town that if you give the money there, you know it's going to what you say it's going for. Sort of like Maywood Mission. If it goes there, you know it goes to help the Maywood Mission, I think, for the Salvation Army. Pleasure to have back with us a commanding officer, Captain Brian DeMichael. Brian?
Paul, it's good to be here.
Thank you. Pleasure to have you on. You're a tough guy to run down. You got a lot going on.
We are. You would think after Christmas season is over that things would finally settle down at the Salvation Army.
You've stopped ringing the bell. What else is there to do?
There's so many other things that are going on
the
right now.
The real work starts.
Absolutely. Still helping a lot of people. Still very active in what's going on in the community, and a lot of exciting things happening at the Army right now.
And we'll talk about that in your location down there at 228 West Hubert. We know where that is down there. You get down to the traffic light, turn right. It's kind of right there on your left. As I've indicated, I was born over there in Hubert Avenue, way up in the 700 block, up on the hill there. And that wasn't down there when I was a kid. That's how old I am. There was no, but I can remember when they built that, and that's been, you would probably know, let's say 60 years ago. I'm not sure how long it's been there.
Well, it was the Hubert Avenue Baptist Church was built in the 50s.
Yes.
And then the Salvation Army actually moved into that building in 1977. So
okay.
We're at 42 years right now in that location.
Long time. And we'll talk about why there's a reason you'd like to not be at that location again.
That's right.
And we'll talk about that. But first I want to talk about something that's coming up here. It's coming up a week from today. Shannon, I'm going to hold that up and maybe just right there, that good? Something coming up a week from today. You've got a big open house coming up. That's going to be I guess an event to raise some awareness. Would we be safe in saying that?
Absolutely. This year, we're actually pulling out some of the stops for what we call National Salvation Army Week.
Okay.
And back in the 1950s, President Dwight D. Eisenhower recognized the Salvation Army for their work and instituted a National Salvation Army Week. So this year, we are doing the open house. We want to allow folks to be able to come in and see what is going on with the Salvation Army right here in Fairfield County. You'll be amazed at how many things we're actually doing out of that building, and just how many people are being met, how many needs are being served in that place. And so we're excited about it. We're inviting the community to come in, take a look, walk through, see what we're doing. There's light refreshments, always food, kind of motivates a little bit there.
Sure.
But it's a general open house to the community. Anybody who would like to come on down. We'd love to have you.
That's 6 to 8. It's a week from today on Tuesday evening, 6 to 8 p.m. And again, it's been years now, but we actually did a show down there. We did a show down there and kind of walked around and looked at things. So that's been, let's say, 6, 7, 8 years ago, probably now. And it was packed in there.
That's
then.
right.
At least in my estimation, that was a busy place. It was a lot going on. So here now, fast forward to now, it's even packeder.
It's even busier,
yes.
Absolutely. Paul, we have our teen night program that goes on down at the Salvation Army on Tuesday nights. And just to give you an idea, last week we had 52 kids who were there for our teen night program.
Wow,
and,
how wonderful is that?
It is. And just the impact that's happening in their lives, the changes that, you can see happening in them, it's really exciting. But, it gets to be a very, very, very busy place.
And I guess that's something we can talk about. You have lots of programs. I think most people are at least aware of your daycare
Yes.
situation going on there, and that's the thing I think that draws the most awareness down there. But you have a very impactful youth program
We
that's
do.
going on. I guess that's what you're talking about, 50 kids?
Yes, 50 kids, and it just seems to be growing. We've actually gotten to the point where we used to have our junior high and senior high kids meet together on the same day, and it just got to be too big, so we've now split it, and we thought, okay, well, maybe the numbers will go down a little bit. No, 50 plus kids in the junior high group and still 15 in the senior high group on
Really?
another night. So, I mean, just lots of kids that are coming, and it's just exciting to see what's going on in each of their lives. And I really believe that with many of them that we're making an impact here in this community, not just for today, but for the future as well.
Now, are these young people that attend church there, or some do, and they bring their friends? How is that group comprised?
That's exactly what some of it is some of them, they bring their friends, and I don't want to embarrass her, but my daughter likes to bring many of her friends and stuff like that, and that's helped. And, as they come, they enjoy what's going on, and so they bring even more friends, and it's just kind of got like this domino effect of all the kids that come, and it's exciting. It's really wonderful to see what's going on.
Let's kind of go back for just a second.
Sure.
We talked about going down there and how busy it looked 7 or 8 years ago, how busy it is there now. You got some things, and you've been doing this for a while now, where maybe some thoughts are giving to possibly moving if you have the opportunity. That's at least in the planning stages.
It absolutely is in the planning stages. When we look at our building, I mean, we've outgrown it. That's one major problem with it. And the other major problem is that it actually sits in the floodplain. And back in February, when we had a decent amount of rain, we had some snow melt and some frozen ground. We had about 3 inches of water in the basement of the building. And so when that happens, it limits the space that you can use, plus you've got all the cleanup. And so I like to jokingly say that I have post-traumatic stress disorder now, that whenever I see in the forecast it's going to rain, I instantly get worried, I go down and make sure all the pumps and everything are working right. But
what a nightmare.
So it's time. We've been in the building for 42 years now, and so we've used it well, and we're definitely moving forward in that process. And so we're excited about what can happen with these programs that we have, that we can help them to grow and even start some more new ones that'll be a good impact in the community.
And let's give a little plug here to you and your wife. Do I understand that an anniversary is upcoming?
It is. Actually, we're very excited about this. On June 25th, my wife and I will celebrate 5 years of ministry here in Lancaster, which is fantastic. That's been a good thing for us. But we've been told already that we're not moving. So as of June 26th, 2019, we will be the longest serving Salvation Army officers in the history of the Salvation Army here in Lancaster.
Great.
And we are excited about that, excited for more years, because we know there's still a lot of work to do, and we love being here. Lancaster is a wonderful place to live.
Down with Brian DeMichael. He's the commanding officer, Captain Brian DeMichael, the commanding officer down at the Salvation Army on Hubert Avenue. And another thing that you folks down there, and several folks have this around, a food pantry. And just guessing, I'd say it's busier than ever, just
Absolutely.
like most food pantries are.
Absolutely, and we actually have been able to change that just a little bit in recent months through a partnership that we now have with the Meijer up on Memorial Drive.
Right.
Meijer is giving us all of their leftover meats, produce, baked goods, dairy, stuff that they cannot use, they're giving to us now.
That is huge.
It is huge. To give you an idea, we received 4 tons of items from Meijer just in the month, just up to this point in this month.
And you don't need a bigger building.
No, not at all. Not at all, We don't need more refrigeration space or anything like that. But it's been a joy that, we can start to shift away from providing, canned goods and things like that. But instead now we can provide fresh produce for
great.
families here in town. And we actually get so much in that our social ministries coordinator has been collaborating with a few other organizations in the community to try and keep it moving. So we've been able to support the foundation dinners. We've been able to help some of the other feeding programs in the community because, quite frankly, we don't have the room to do a feeding program. And if someone else is doing it and we can equip them to do it, let's do it. So it's been good.
Is the amount of people, and I talk on here to Lutheran Social Services, Maywood Mission, the foundation. Kind of talked to all these folks in the course of a year, and as a rule, they all say it's just increasingly busy.
Yes.
With the food pantry. Would that be the same for you?
I would say the exact same thing. I actually saw a report recently that said food pantry use over the last 10 years in Fairfield County has increased by 192%. And that number is just going to continue to go up. There's just more and more people that are finding themselves in need. And what we've learned is that these aren't folks that are foolishly spending their money. These are working poor families who, mom and dad are barely making enough money to keep the lights on and keep a roof over their head. And sometimes the resources get tight.
And that's the working poor. I guess that's the definition of, they have jobs, they make money, they just don't make enough. And
exactly.
The money goes perhaps to maybe the kids, maybe to medicals thing. I mean, there's lots of things out there that pull at these families. Is that a lot of the families that come to you?
Absolutely. I remember a story that was told recently about a family that the mom had passed away, and so the dad is raising 4 kids on his own and was trying his best to make ends meet, and the kids just didn't have enough food in the house, so we were able to actually help that family with some food, and because of that, they were able to pay another bill that they didn't know where the money was going to come from.
Excellent. Great story. Got about a minute left. I wanted to mention the Swonecki Brass and Voices concert, if I said that correctly.
That's pretty good.
It would be in May, so it's a little more than a week away, like the 16th of May, out at OUL. Tell us what that is.
So from around Southwest Ohio, we have some of the best musicians in the Salvation Army. They're a part of a regional band that will actually be coming and playing here in Lancaster. They're going to be there'll be people playing in a brass concert and voices, and so this will be the first time. I don't know if it'll be the absolute first time we've ever had them in Lancaster, but it's been a while, and we were selected as the location. We're excited about it. It's a free concert. Nice. Come on out and see this. We're going to be taking up that night a free will offering to support our summer camping program, which we've already almost got completely filled for this next year for kids going to overnight camp. So come out, join us at OUL, enjoy the music, and it'll be a good night together.
So a week from tonight, Tuesday 6 to 8, down at the Salvation Army, you've got your Salvation Army open house. And again, you can find that and the information about the Swonecki concert that a couple days later on the 16th out at OUL. You can find it at, you can just Google Salvation Army. It's actually fcohio.salvationarmy.org. They're on Facebook. You're very easy to work with out there. Got a lot of locations.
Absolutely.
So, I want to thank Brian DeMichael for being with us. Happy anniversary coming up.
Thank you.
Glad you're here another year.
Thank
Appreciate you being on. Salvation Army, one of the great places around Lancaster. Look them up and attend these events if you can. We'll be back to talk campground in just a moment.
The Frank E. Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster or 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today. Paul Jasson here with you. Nice to have you chatting. We appreciate Brian DeMichael being in, talk about the Salvation Army. Again, great place in Lancaster and Fairfield County. And there are a couple of these around, several in Lancaster and Fairfield County. They're kind of gems that no one knows about. There are several around. Next week we'll talk about the airport. A lot of people don't know much about the airport. We'll talk about that. But in this segment, we're going to talk about the Lancaster Campground. A lot of people know where it is. So many people have been out there. Some have attended things. Some just drive by it every day, don't think much about it. But the Davis Auditorium out there opened up in 1895 and closed in 2005. So it's been 14 years. This whole event's been going on. So it's been going on a while. And the grand reopening of the Davis Auditorium is getting ready to go. And we've got the girl that's kind of been the driving force behind that for these many years, Shirley Wassam. Shirley, is that the light at the end of the tunnel I'm seeing with you?
It certainly is.
It's been a real I think a labor of love for you. As much time and as blood, sweat, and tears as you've put into this, it's been amazing. May 19th, you're having the grand opening out there of the Davis Auditorium. Again, one of the campground is such a great place, but then I think the jewel of the campground is the Davis Auditorium. That's I think the center of focus, and certainly for this event. And you've got to be just excited to all get out.
It's hard to even talk about
Oh.
it. It's been just amazing,
Yes.
as you said, in
Yeah.
8 years for me.
Yeah. I know you've been
And,
you've been on this, and golly, the history here with you going back. You've got a couple days there.
57 years I've attended services at the campground. And I heard Kurt and Charlotte Davis on the radio, and I wanted to meet them. And as soon as I got my license, I started attending services there in the summertime.
Yeah.
Been there ever since.
It's a wonderful place, and so this has been going on with work out there, with so many volunteers, with grants, with things you've paid for and things you had done, fundraisers. This has pretty much been on and off, but almost, like I say, nonstop for you for about 8 years.
Correct. I did 6 years of the fundraising, headed that all up, and then they asked me about construction. Well, I know nothing about construction, and but it's amazing with the help of Gary Stanball and Mark Scholas, your son-in-law, stepson. What a great pair, and with their knowledge, which they're like encyclopedias when it comes to knowing about construction. I just did a lot of the phoning and all that sort of thing, and they took care of
Well, you don't have to
everything
know all the
else.
answers. You just have to know the people that know the answers, and you have.
Right,
And you've had, and again, they're volunteers certainly, but then you've had lots of volunteers over the years have really done the work.
Yes, absolutely. They have done the work, and we had the May the 14th to the 19th. You and I talked about that last year about this time.
Work week.
We had a work week, and we brought in people from all over the community. I can't thank the community enough.
I know Fairfield
for-
Federal, I think they fed
Yes.
people out there. They did
Well,
stuff.
they sent out 5
Nice.
people that actually
Nice.
worked all day long
Nice.
there and paid their salary to come and work
Yeah,
in
they're
the
very
auditorium.
community-minded, as so many
Absolutely.
people are in the community. Yeah.
It was an amazing week. And so then the neat thing after that is 23 Thursdays after that, about 12 people on the campground continued to work on Thursdays to finish what got started during the work week. And so altogether during the 2018, as close as I could keep track, because some came and worked and I didn't even know they were there, but over 5,900 hours of volunteer labor has gone into that. And the neat thing about it is the outside had to be scraped. So when you think 14,400 square foot building and scraping that thing down, from top to bottom, that took a little while. And then the neat thing too was the Sherwin-Williams company took our project as their project for the year. They purchased 150 gallon of their paint for us, and that retailed at $70 a gallon. Then the neatest thing is they came and put it on.
Really?
They provided the brushes, all the huge sprayers, rollers, everything. And it was amazing to watch them. They came in from McConnellsville to Mount Vernon. They were salespeople in the company of Sherwin-Williams, came from all over the place and put this day together.
Probably just like watching something
Oh.
on HGTV where people come in and all of a sudden it's just all it's being done.
Oh, it was amazing. I said
Yeah.
it was just like ants on candy. They started in, and within 2.5 hours, about 35 people had the first coat on that. They stopped for lunch, went back out, put the second coat on, and it was amazingly beautiful.
So
And
we've
so-
had this going on for all these years, 8 years you've been involved. It's been closed longer than that, I think, back since 2005, the Davis Auditorium out there. So fast forward now to a couple of weeks, May 19th at 2 o'clock. It is the event, the grand opening, the grand reopening, shall we say, of the Davis Auditorium out there. And tell us what that day is going to be like.
Okay, that day is going to be fantastic. And again, we got to throw out thank yous. It wouldn't be possible without the grant from Fairfield County Foundation.
Sure.
2 of them. One was a construction grant. The other one was a grant to put blacktop down because the floor got actually just ruined when they had to bring in big cranes to put in the beams.
Sure.
And then South Central gave us money to buy the new drapes, which are absolutely gorgeous.
Nice.
So, but anyway, on May the 19th, again, we're so thankful to have Mary Ann Thaler in our community. She's organizing an orchestra that's going to play the music that Billy Sunday, when he spoke there in the early 1920s, she found the medley and she's putting an orchestra together and play that. The Thomas H. Thaler family also donated a digital piano.
Nice.
Another thing that's going to be played that day is I don't know the year, but Perry Norris and his wife Judy restored a pump organ.
Ooh.
And gave it to us. So that is going to be played that day. We are also going to have Kurt and Charlotte Davis's actual son-in-law is going to be the keynote speaker of that day. Debbie Wright will be sharing with us her talents, and you've heard Debbie sing, I'm sure.
I have. She's great.
There'll be a video that was made, and the gentleman that's interface video and the gentleman that's taping this today has been graciously working with us, Shane, on putting together a video, and that will be shown that day, and then available later for sale.
Sure.
And so that's going to be a pretty awesome video.
A lot going on.
So it's going to be a loaded agenda, and we hope to just move through it as quickly as possible and not make people sit on the pews real long. Parking is something
I was going to just bring that
up.
You've got limited parking in the campground for any event anyway, so tell us what the plan is for that.
Okay, glad I wanted to make sure we didn't forget that part.
Sure.
If it does not rain, we will be using a lot of the grassy areas that we always used before for parking on the campground.
Yeah.
We have 8 golf carts already lined up that will be taking people up the hill and back down the hill. We also have Crossroads, which is our neighbor, has donated their entire parking facility
Which is a
for
great
that.
facility.
That's a huge facility.
Yeah.
And then the Maywood Mission are donating 2 vans,
Nice.
15 passenger, and I believe the other one's I don't know if it's an 8 or a 10 passenger.
Yeah.
I'm not real sure. And then we have drivers that will be driving people or picking people up.
So those will be over Crossroads,
right.
the shuttling
them
to
over
and
up
back.
to the Davis and then back.
And back.
We've talked to Paul Martin. He's going to provide a police officer to help get out after it's over, because making a left turn out of there, since that light's been installed there at Edie and Fair, sometimes creates a bottleneck. And then Sheriff Phelan said we would also have somebody available if we needed them at Crossroads to get people out. So we've tried to take care of the whole safety issue of getting people in and out of there. We're really hoping for a huge attendance that day.
Well, hope for a day like this, this would be perfect, you know, if it's a day like this.
So we did send out a few invitations, but those were just for the people that had really, over the years, have made some big donations to us. And so if you didn't get an invitation, don't feel badly about that. Everyone's invited, and we encourage everybody to come and see what everyone working together can make happen. And we not only want to give the community praise, but we certainly need to give the good Lord praise. Because every phone call I made, I felt like somebody had already been talked to before I got to talk to that person. And we can do this. We can help you. And the response has been just incredible from the community. And so it will be available to utilize as soon as we get the final touches.
And I know you've already
it.
had some inquiries about as we move into the summertime here. So it's Sunday, May 19th, so it's a couple of weeks away yet, out at the Lancaster Campground. It's the grand reopening and dedication of the Davis Auditorium. Again, it opened back in 1895, and it closed in 2005 because of concerns about structure. It was failing, there were things sinking. It was such a wonderful place, and I've been to a lot of concerts out there, and it's great. So now I'm anxious, and I haven't seen it for a while. I haven't been out there for a while. I'm anxious to see the new and improved Davis Auditorium and the new sound and the new organs and the pianos and everything's going out there, because there'll be a lot of concerts throughout the summer. It's a great place to go. The campground is a wonderful We're fortunate to have that here anyway, but then to have the Davis Auditorium
I have
on
one
top
other
of that.
person I need to mention.
Yes.
Gary Wilson, who has nothing to do with the campground, made a new podium out of the old pews that were all banged up and couldn't be used anymore. He designed it himself and built a podium that's absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
And it will be
People will be
seen-
amazed, won't they?
Oh, when that curtain opens and they see what's, what the stage looks like and everything. Well, 142 gallons of stain and paint went on the inside. So just that in itself makes everything just look beautiful.
So if you have any questions, you can call Shirley 654-5649 or Cheryl at 243-3065. These are the numbers to call if you have questions. Otherwise, expect to see you out there.
Come.
Be there or be square.
Come. We would love to
It's
have.
Sunday, May 19th, 2 p.m. out at the Davis Auditorium out at the Lancaster Campground. Grand reopening and dedication. It'll be a wonderful time. Looking forward to it, Shirley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
It's been great.
Shirley Wasson, we've had a
All
good run
these-
here on all these shows
all
we've
these
done
years
on. It's
that
been
we've
great
done this.
It's been great fun.
Appreciate all the media.
Well, we appreciate what you've done too.
Thanks.
So thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.